10 years, he goes from being an immigrant to renovating a president's house.
Sitting president. Huge honor.
Where do cars come into this? How do we get into
Oh, yeah, that's great. Thank you. The first boats came in. So my dad's model.
He was an immigrant. I get it.
Yes, we came on an airplane, but thank you. But
Wow, you're very fancy.
oh, I didn't go. My dad, yeah, and his architectural models were all balsa wood, and he had the whole city of Miami in the lobby. He had built that himself, but huge model, and with highways and with cars on it and everything. And I love that.
He'd build little cars out of balsa wood?
The cars they buy in an architectural thing, but and I couldn't resist. So with balsa wood, I would carve out boats. I'd make boats. The Donzi was the boat. The Donzi 16 and 18 were lovely boats.
Donzi was a thing back then?
It was the thing back then. It wasn't like today. These were very large boats. The Donzi was the 16 and the 18, and no windshields, and were lovely boats. A nice red stripe in the middle. I made two things all the time. I drew the creation of Adam, and I shaped out of balsa wood the two Donzis that were available to a willing and happy public.
You are an odd dichotomy of influences.
Until it was all glass.
Yeah.
Coconut Grove is a jungle. It's a canopy, and it's cloudy in Miami. So by the time those lovely sun rays, which are hot and full of humidity, of course, has to travel through the clouds, has to go through the humidity, has to go through the leaves, past the branches, and finally get to the street. And one day I was shaving my little Donzi, and I hear this growling sound. And I look out the glass. It's a glass, big, huge glass window. And it was an E-Type. I had never seen that.
No. I was expecting a panther at the end of the story.
Yeah.
And it turned out to be a car.
It was like that.
Was this like an aha moment for you with cars, or had you been in the car prior to that?
I stopped the Donzis. I had a dilemma though. Balsa wood and Jaguar
Do not go
E-Type.
together.
That's not something that I was capable of without losing all my fingers. And so then I really started drawing cars at that point because it was a black E-Type convertible with a gentleman, a client of my dad, who came out with a black suit. This is Miami, right? And a handsome gentleman. Everything about that was a bit overwhelming.
Is a black suit odd in Miami? I would think that's an odd choice.
This gentleman was unusual, and he kind of came in. It was almost like a fantasy thing. And the reflections, the reason I bored you with the sun and the cloud and the leaves and the branch and this, was you should have seen the effect of those little sun rays on that Jaguar fender by the time that sun hit that Jag.
William Lyons did not envision that when they penned that car.
It might not have been the part of the product concept,
They didn't. Now, let's talk about unusual people, because while we're in this time,
we're covering those.
we're getting to it.
Because more.
Now, this is the Forrest Gump part of your
Some
life.
of them are skeletons out of my closet.
We're pulling a couple of, I know some of the guys over there are going to have heart attacks.
Yes.
But your dad had a very unusual client, did a renovation in Key Biscayne.
That's true.
So who is the unusual client, and what part of the journey did that take you to?
Yeah, I was young. So, and my dad, we had a little boat around a 21-foot open fisherman thing. And I remember, it's kind of strange, these things are very sharp memories because they were not so usual, and they were fun memories. So we were going across the bay from Coconut Grove, where I live, to Key Biscayne, which is for your viewers, a little island off of Miami.
Lovely island.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I used to water ski. I thought, my dad was dressed, so I was a little puzzled by what we're doing, because we were heading in the direction where I would water ski. I was a small.
You would water ski out in the ocean?
It's Key Biscayne in the mangroves.
Okay.
Very glassy. And we're going there. And then we turn off there, and there's this big. They still had the slab of the helicopter pad. I didn't know what a helicopter pad is, but they were building it. And a boat comes up and they're taking my dad's ID and all this stuff, kind of guys with a boat and the kind of military looking guys. And I found out this is Richard Nixon's house. Yeah. So my dad was, it's not a big project. It's not from the ground up. He was asked to fortify the house, basically put a helicopter pad on there and stuff like that. And it's the American story, right? My dad,
That's like the American story.
he arrived in the U.S. Circa 1960.
10 years, he goes from being an immigrant to renovating a president's house.
Sitting president, huge honor. I think my dad, he's the Forrest Gump, a little bit more than me. I'm Gump Jr. in your structure of analysis. But with my dad, I saw things obviously that I, on my own, would not have seen.
Such as?
Because he exposed me to architects and artists. Because my dad was so open. I lived in this. My elementary school was here. My dad's studio is here, and my dear mommy is here.
Did that translate to teaching moments where he'd sit you down and say, "This is how we design a house"?
Never. The things you learned from my dad was that he let you sit next to him no matter what it is. But he wasn't someone who would say, "Hey, Alfie, do it." Because he would watch me trying to draw. And he said, what car is that? Oh, that's a 911. And he goes, oh, okay. And then, so I think this one's a 911.
Was Dad a car guy?
No.
So nothing cool?
And
he didn't drive anything cool?
What do you mean?
Like, did he have a cool car?
1971 Chevrolet Monte Carlo, silver body, black Landau top.
That's
bucket seats, 400.
3 series of the day. I get it.
That's his 3 series of the day.
3 series of the day. We're not talking anything like
3 series.
He didn't have like an E-Type or a 911.
No.
Like
He never was like that. He was obsessed with his doing buildings, and I went to all the buildings. I was walking freshly poured concrete. He was a poured concrete guy. I'm a super modernist guy. And I'd walk all those buildings. When I was 15, he had me working on the buildings, part of the construction team, but wearing the architect's hard hat. And that's the easiest way to be hung from a chain link fence, because the construction guys, these are the real guys. And the architect guys,
I feel like we're getting back to the mobster movie theme here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's unintentional, but maybe always there.
When I always deviate into that discussion.
Well, I saw design. I saw on the Gucci, famous Japanese artist, did a park in Miami with my father. And I saw that. I saw this gentle Japanese gentleman. It's so smooth, the way he walked through the studio. My dad was such an architect and not a businessman, to be honest. And he'd have successful periods and eras, and then not. And that era was bad for him because, they're probably all the Cubans, on the one hand, you land in Cuba, you land in the U.S. from Cuba, and you have the great honor to remodel the president's house. But then you're still Cuban, right? And then, Nixon had some Cubans around him.
Explain to me, how did he get connected? How did he get introduced?
Yeah, there's B.B. Rebozo and all of these characters around Nixon in Miami. My dad was a young architect that was making, my dad made the city hall of Miami, the head of all the police, headquarters of police station in Miami. So he was
Your dad was quite a guy.
Yeah, he was quite prolific in that era. So it was, I don't know if it was a natural thing, but to me, I was just always impressed to see that design process. So when you're asking me, how was that influencing me? Because I literally saw him thinking about things, drawing things, and then I spent all my time in the studio, and I'd see his architects making it, and you see the models. And then I would walk these buildings, the fresh concrete smell, which I love, and I'd see the whole thing.
Why do you love concrete, the smell of it?
Probably because it was what my dad was making. It's a weird smell. It's probably not a good smell.
Okay. I don't think of the smell of concrete as a thing.
It's a fresh car. Freshly poured concrete has a very, especially on a big building where there's a lot of it. It's a memorable thing. It cannot be washed from my mind. And I'm so lucky, because as head of global design, I'm responsible for corporate architecture. So I have a team of architects actually.
So recurring theme.
And every time we do a project, I feel close to my dad. So I do.
As an aside, you used to work under Bruce back in the day.
Bruce Campbell.
And he
also
was a big architecture guy in your headquarters in Tennessee. He does that.
We together were working on that. I was his Robin, I guess, and he was Batman.
If you enjoyed this content, please like the video and consider subscribing to see even more content like this. And to listen to or watch the full podcast version of this episode, search Motoman TV Podcast in your favorite podcast platform or click the link in the video description below. We have all new episodes each Wednesday. Thanks for watching.